Welcome to the Motoring Podcast, your weekly discussion of motoring news. This is episode 661 on Tuesday, the 9th of December, 2025. Hello, I'm Alan.
Hello, I'm Andrew. And in a week where it becomes even more obvious that you, dear listener, are not listening to those too lazy to come up with their own podcast name, you'll hear us say hello and goodbye a few times. In new car news, you will see one version of a Korean adventure. And in points of interest, you'll possibly want to reconsider one or two cars. But first, we have some follow-up, and this is all to do with the financial mis-selling, stroke complaints, stroke they weren't missold, etc., that we have discussed a few times, because the Financial Conduct Authority has now said, instead of it being in July 2026, when companies need to start paying back customers or dealing properly with the financial mis-selling complaints, because that was put on pause in 2024, it's now going to be the 31st of May in 2026. So they brought it forward a couple of months. This was a bit of a shock to the motor finance industry. However, they are being given a lot of notice, and the FCA says, come on, you should be able to have it sorted by then.
Yeah. I think they're actually shocked that the FCA is doing something and actually going, well, no, get on with it, please. Because that's not a particularly FCA type thing to do.
No, they are making it very clear that this is all about ensuring that consumers, and this is quoted in the Motor Trader article, ensuring consumers receive fair and timely outcomes. Mm-hmm. And that, as Alan says, that's remarkable, really.
It is a little bit. There's a fact, any time there's FCA in a headline, though, it still throws me because I still always expect it to be Fiat Chrysler Automobiles.
I know, yes. Anyway, it's towards the front end of a month, so that can only mean one thing, Alan.
That's right, everyone. Brace yourselves. It's the November new car registration figures. Woo! Yeah, pump up the volume. Yes, that's the most exciting thing you're going to hear for the next few minutes, really, because the new car market has fallen by 1.6% ahead of the budget, including introducing new taxes on electric cars. Now, there's a theme through the SMMT wording on this. They're blaming the budget for all of this, other than the fact it's November. The weather's been pretty grim across the whole of the UK, but we're all feeling a bit rubbishy.
Christmas is coming.
We don't really feel we have much money, etc., etc., etc. Probably more of a factor than Rachel from accounts right at the moment saying that something's probably going to happen in a couple of years.
Yes.
Depending on whether or not they think they're going to get re-elected. Lots of big news saying that electric vehicles made up over 50% of the market share. They didn't. Where you see that is badly written.
It's a lie, Alan. It's a lie.
That's what I wasn't saying. It's electrified vehicles made up just over 50%. And the industry is, of course, calling on the government to rethink the EVED proposals, which they're saying will undermine demand and endanger EV transition. I'm saying are just stupid, poorly thought through, and are never going to work if anything like that is implemented. And to me, that's far more of an issue than, frankly, anything that is perceived to be endangering the EV transition. It's just a really stupid way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, total 151,154 new cars were registered last month. Of those, 43.8% were petrol-powered. That's 66,180. 4.7% were diesel-powered. That's 7,168. That's all. Hybrid electric vehicles made up 13.1%, and that's 19,836. Battery electric vehicles made up 26.5%, and that's 39,965 vehicles. And the remaining 18,005 vehicles, or 11.9% of the market, were plug-in hybrid electric vehicles.
And that is just a reminder for those listening, that is only for November 2025.
Yes.
And the changes in percentage-wise are year on year.
Yeah, so that's November to November, everyone.
Because if you look at the market share for the year up to now, then battery electric is at 22 point something percent. Therefore, some way still away from the requirement of the was it 25, 26%? I keep forgetting what it is supposed to be for 2025.
It's 26.4% is where it's standing right at the moment. It's meant to be 28%.
Mm-hmm. But the market share for the year overall is only 22.8% for battery electric vehicles. The 26% is just November itself.
Oh, pardon me. You're quite right. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's how easy it is to misread it.
Just to be clear, so no one thinks that we're like one of the loons that go anti-battery electric vehicle or anything, that's an improvement of 4% on last year.
Yeah.
There is an improvement. It is constantly getting better. It's just, as we always say, it has never been at the rate people expected / required.
Yeah. The thing is, the number of registrations is up 26% to 22.7% market share.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just derailed us there slightly. Do you want to tell people who were the people registering, allegedly?
Yes, the top models table for November only, not for the whole of 2025 so far. Number 10 is the Audi A3 with 2,114 registrations. Number 9 is the Mini Cooper with 10 more, 2,124. The next up is number 8, the Jaiku 7. At number 7 is the Vauxhall Corsa, though. Number 6 is the Volkswagen Golf. Number 5 is the Volkswagen Trod with 2,768. So as usual, there's very little in this because there are just so many flipping models available in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the Nissan Juke, 2,835. Number 3, the Nissan Qashqai with 3,004. So that's a jump of just under 200. Number 2, the Kia Sportage with 3,649 units registered. And at number 1, the Ford Puma with 4,859 units registered.
Yes, quite a jump.
There's quite a lot of e-Pumas have been registered, I'm sure. Registered, I said. I didn't say sold.
No,
I said
I know.
Registered.
I know. And it does matter for those who complain whenever I point that out and say, but they're going to the fleet anyway. Yes, but if people are claiming something is sold when it is not actually sold, that is, once again, returning to a theme, that is a lie. We don't do lies.
Are listeners really complaining about that? Because listeners are generally as nerdy as we are. Sorry, listeners.
Well, they've heard us go on about it enough times, so they're well educated. And obviously gorgeous and intelligent on top of things.
Absolutely.
Shall I do the spreadsheet of doom then?
Yeah, you do the doomy bit and then I'll do the nicey bit.
Okay. Abarth is down 73%, Bentley is down 41%, BMW is down 16%. Put that into context, last year, so in 2024, they registered 10,558. In 2025, they registered 8,896 in November. Then we get to DS, who've dropped 85%, then Fiat drop 78%. Honda are down 17%, Ineos are down 35%, Jeep are down 78%, then we have Lexus dropping 23%, Mercedes are dropping 36%. Again, just to give you context, because these are brands that we all recognize, in November 2024, that was 8,278. In 2025, it was only 5,302, so that is quite a drop. MG is down 23%, Mini is down 35%, Peugeot down 44%, Porsche down 29%, Tesla drops 17%, Other British is 36%, and Other Imports also drops 42%. Okay, Alan, cheer everyone up.
Meanwhile, in good news, Alfa Romeo up 119% to 248 vehicles registered. Alpine up 548%. They get the MG award for ridiculous percentages. 214 registered. Of course, I'm sure that many of those are powerful versions of the Renault 5. BYD up 233%. Cupra up 66%. GWM up 76%. KGM, I have no idea who these people are.
Well, KGM used to be SsangYong.
Is it? Because I always think, GWM is the one with the Aura, and it's imported by International Motors, isn't it?
GWM's Chinese, KGM is Korean.
Oh, okay.
Easy for us all to remember.
Yeah. Omoda, who are also Chinese, 107%. Polestar, who are Chinese, 100%. Renault, who are not Chinese, 17%. Skywell, I'll let you guess, 67%. Smart, 96.3%. Subaru, 19.3%. Suzuki, 81.26%. A significant rise for Suzuki is always a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I've no idea why, but I just always feel it's a good thing.
Puts a smile on my face because I want Suzuki to do well. I know they're never going to be one of the top 5 when it comes to registrations and things like that.
1,470 vehicles registered, by the way. So not just like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You know, it's they do a steady trade there at Suzuki, and that makes me happy. I think that as long as there's place in the market for a manufacturer like Suzuki, then I think that's a sign of something that's quite healthy. I know that all sounds a bit silly, and I don't know why I feel that.
But they also serve areas of the country that others won't go to.
Yes.
And I think that's important because it's enabling new cars to people in areas that wouldn't get them otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's it, other than to repeat the wise words of Mike Hawes. His statement this month is that even in a fragile market, zero-emission vehicle uptake continues to rise, which is exactly what we need. But the weakest growth for almost 2 years ahead of government announcing a new tax on EVs should be seen as a wake-up call that sustained increase in demand for EVs cannot be taken for granted. We should be taking every opportunity to encourage drivers to make the switch, not punishing them for doing so, else the ambitions of the government and industry will be thwarted.
Make more affordable cars. There's your simple answer.
Yeah.
Don't get anywhere near the ridiculous new luxury car tax. Bish, bosh, bish, job done. Everybody's happy.
There we go. The world according to Clues.
I've fixed it all. It's so easy from here.
Absolute piece of cake.
Right, I'm going to move us on now, and I am going to take us on to the fact that VAUXHALL has lost their managing director, Steve Catlin, who was only in place for 8 months. He has now left due to, quote, personal reasons, and the head of Stellantis UK, the managing director, Ulrich Druce, has stepped in, and I don't know if this is a temporary thing or whether this is permanent, but will be doing the role of managing director for VAUXHALL alongside his current responsibilities for Stellantis UK. Yeah, this...
There have been a lot of musical chairs at Stellantis in the UK over the last few months.
Well, Stellantis full stop, because they've got a new head honcho, haven't they? Well, the problem was, whilst they were looking for a head honcho, they did a whole load of appointments at senior level, both locally and internationally. And then the new boss came in and went, tatty bye everyone, I'm putting my own people that I want in these positions. And it's not a surprise, but it does feel like it's been an awful waste of time and money by a lot of people.
Yes, I wonder how this is all feeling from inside the companies, because, you know, it does bring quite a lot of instability.
Here's the thing, they're struggling as well as a company, internationally and in local markets. I mean, okay, we could see there's some growth in November. We've just gone through some of those companies, but they're not exploding and taking the market by storm. And they do have some good products as well. I mean, we found that when we were at SMMT.
Yeah,
we were surprised at VAUXHALL's Grandland, because we hadn't been anywhere near a VAUXHALL for ages, so we didn't know what to expect. And okay, it was a 10-minute drive, but it felt really good.
Yeah.
And I've heard from other people who I respect, chatting to them, and they said, no, really good vehicles. So they do have some products there that are working.
I've said before that VAUXHALL's biggest problem is the Vantage VAUXHALL on it. That's the biggest problem VAUXHALL have, is the fact, and that they keep on reusing the same monikers. Whereas some things are well past the date. People need to move on from the idea of a VAUXHALL Corsa.
I hope the new head honcho culls several brands just to streamline what they offer. Because until they do that, they're just fighting each other in a lot of markets over the same customer.
And I don't like that, because I think there should be choice in all the little flavours and nuances that they give you. But I also agree with you. because it is, it's just too much. And then they fight with each other. Everybody doesn't know what they're doing, so they go off and buy something different.
Yeah.
I would say they go off and buy a Ford, but they don't. Not in Europe.
No. And maybe we'll come to that more about that next week, because I think in discussing that, we will discuss Stellantis as well and their approach to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
As ever, we hope Vauxhall continue to fight the good fight in this country, or if they're called Opel at any point. And good luck to everybody involved.
We're about to talk about ZIPCAR and the fact that it is considering closing its UK business. It paused bookings in London, which is the only city in which they still operate. Previously, they operated in Bristol, Cambridge, and Oxford as well. And ZIPCAR, if you don't know, they have a fleet of vans and cars, which if you are signed up for their car club, you can access. I think it's with a card. Might be with your phone now, but it used to be with a card that you can access and drive. And then the EVs, you just plug them back in again. The petrol-powered ones, you had to top them up. But you could get in, drive, pay for the time you used the car, and then return it to a ZIPCAR bay. Sometimes where you got it from, others in just whichever ZIPCAR bay is convenient for you at that moment. For the 2024 calendar year, they posted an £11.7 million loss in the accounts they filed. In 2023, they posted a £364,000 loss. There's a bit of a difference between those two numbers. The mounting losses were put down to high electricity price, the size of the electric fleet. In fact, fuel costs are included in the cost of the rental. And then they also said the resale market values continued to be challenging, which drove higher costs as well.
Yeah, and that's something we have talked about again on the show many, many times, because there are some out there who profess to be thought leaders, etc., saying, oh, it's brilliant for the next buyer that an electric car is depreciated far, far more than was anticipated, let alone hoped.
Mm-hmm.
And you used to go, that's such a one-dimensional view on these things. Someone takes the hit, and we can see it here. We can see it in the numbers directly. What happens is a company then goes, you know what, we're going to have to fold because we can't afford to continue doing business. I really wish more out there would understand this, because the electric car grant is not going to help. It's actually going to make this worse.
Electric car grant is an immediate, however much it is this week, of depreciation straight away.
Yeah. And that's across the whole of new cars on offer, because those who aren't eligible are now offering the discount as well.
Yeah.
So if you bought a car at the end of June, beginning of July, before this came in, you've lost so much more than you thought you were already.
Yeah, and this is a real problem for the rental companies, because they previously were able to make a pretty good stab at what the vehicle was going to be worth at the end of its time with them. And so that they could predict it, and then that reflected back in the rental prices. Whereas with the EVs, it was way worse than was expected. And that has had a significant hit on their balance sheet, a really significant hit on the balance sheets, because at the same time, they can't put the rentals up crazy amounts or people aren't going to rent from them. And it's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. And so it's a real shame, because again, schemes like this, they're meant to enable people to say, well, actually, there's a few times of the year I need a car. I'll use the ZIPCAR or that once or twice a week to just go do my shopping. And then I don't have to worry about having a parking permit. I don't have to worry about any of these things. But when I'm going to IKEA, then I'll just take a ZIPCAR. If I'm going to wherever, I'll take a ZIPCAR.
Yeah, if you live in London, where there are more people who don't own a car than do, I can see the sense, particularly if you're not a car person as well. You just, I need a particular type of transport to fill this need now. It does sound really attractive. However, for the likes of us and our listeners, we don't want to share with anyone. We don't.
Even then, you rent space with a friend who lives outside London, and then when we need a car, you'd use a ZIPCAR. That kind of thing's worth considering. But there is, of course, the flip side, which was that people don't like sharing. And some people who you have to share with are not that great, and they don't leave the cars very clean, and all these kind of things are a knock-on effect. I mean, I have French friends who had Autoliv passes in Paris, and just the state of some of them was just appalling. It was brilliant. It was a great service. but you can see why it folded. But it's different reasons from ZIPCAR, by the way.
Absolutely.
Well, there's fewer people making homes in ZIPCARs.
Yes. But another thing, and I haven't had a chance to look this up, but I've got a vague memory of one particular council in London binned their fleet, or a large portion of their fleet, and went all in with ZIPCAR. Now, after the 31st of December this year, no vehicles are leaving the ZIPCAR fleet for the public use. That council has got a couple of weeks to source an alternative, if I've remembered correctly.
I can't really see. I can't see anything like that.
I'll have to dig hard, but I'm almost certain there was one council that went, "Oh, this is a great idea." And again, if you're a council, it sounds it on paper, but you're putting an awful lot of eggs into the basket of, let's hope this startup works.
It might have been Hackney Council. They launched an EV car club pilot. They launched a pilot car sharing program in partnership with ZIPCAR and Zest Charging. And members of it would have access to 15 EVs from ZIPCAR as well as 70 on-street fast chargers. That might have been it. That was from May this year.
Right.
Oh, there was one other thing that we didn't mention, and that's, of course, the changes to the congestion zone.
Oh, yes.
Charges and the congestion zone. And those also have been a significant operational hit because they need to basically be paid every day, apart from certain ZIPCARs which were tied to certain parking spots within the congestion zone and were therefore congestion zone exempt. Other than that, they were spending an awful lot of money on the congestion charge.
But that's coming in the 2nd of January 2026. The removal of the EV one. The ICE still had to pay that, but
yeah,
because it's been so long since we discussed it, 2nd of January 2026, EVs will now pay the congestion charge for London Central Zone.
More electrification news, though. The B network.
Yes.
Should I know who the B network are?
The B network is the bus network for Greater Manchester. And we have to discuss...
They're all yellow and black, everyone.
Yes, they are.
Sorry,
So it does tie in, and it's easy to recognise, but Transport for Greater Manchester, TFGM brackets. Yes, I get the feeling that Greater Manchester is trying to ape London in many, many ways.
Desperately trying to ape London. And its leadership has been trying to do so for some time.
Yes, absolutely. However, what they are doing is they have approved £65 million to, and this is quoted in the Sustainable Bus article that we have linked in the show notes, to accelerate the transition of its public transport system towards zero emission. 59.1 million is going on to increase the number of electric buses, so they're going to have an extra 220, which is roughly 13% of their fleet. And then there is going to be 5.7 million spent on a project to push forward the tram train development on the Oldham, Rochdale, Hayward, Bury corridor. That's just an awful lot of things put in there. The new buses are expected to come on stream by late 2026. They've already got 350 electric buses around the Greater Manchester area, and the Greater Manchester area is really quite large. And I hope for this to increase because recently I did see a B network bus. Unfortunately, it was spewing out a horrific amount of smoke from its exhaust pipe. I was like, yeah, if you could make that one electric, that would be really cool.
I see that they have done the free bus network that's in the centre of Manchester. Then I see that they've already replaced the elderly diesel vehicles that have been doing that run for quite some time with 12 new EV buses.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Greater Manchester is also the first region that was looking at a clean air zone that then said, no, actually, we can do this without charging people. And it seems to be moving apace towards having clean air without the taxation by encouraging rather than hitting with a stick.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Also on the road to electrification, but the Royal Mail is introducing a new fleet of electric HGVs. It's going to be running them between its Midlands and Northwest parcel hubs. They're saying here the vehicles will operate 24 hours a day, handling middle mile deliveries between hubs and mail centres. So, yeah, hub and spoke model. absolutely perfect for running EVs. They are DAFs, whatever's replaced the CF model. DAF, that's not the biggest one. It's the middle-sized one. And they're electric versions of those. They've been installing rapid chargers, ABB T360s for charger spotters out there. They can give around 60 miles of range and fuel in 15 minutes. I was given that information, thought, why? Who cares?
Are they not only in anoraks, but they have special rubber wellies just in case as well?
Yeah, exactly. And the gloves. We're going back to that Jeep Recon again, aren't we?
Yes.
The 8 vehicles are set to cut about 1,000 tons of CO2 annually. This comes on top of 7,000 vans that they already have out there, plus some of the new sort of compact electric vehicle things which are replacing vans in parts of London. I can't find the word in the article.
Yes, some of them are like electrified cargo bikes with covers and things like that.
Stuff like that.
It's that sort of. It's not a bicycle. It's not a motor vehicle. It's that grey area in between.
It's the sort of electric assisted bicycle, or the assisted trolley is another favourite one. Where have I seen that?
Yeah,
you see those in Switzerland and stuff. But yeah, they've got the biggest electric vehicle fleet in the UK. It's micro electric vehicles. That's what it is. A MEV.
Wasn't that a particular Mitsubishi brand that we saw on charging around Britain?
That was the iMEV.
Yes. Well, talking of great ideas, but it does also feel quite sad that this sort of thing still needs to happen in 2025.
Yeah.
But Rigor Group, who are a franchise car dealership group, has launched a Women in Automotive journal. Now, this is a new initiative that is designed, as it is quoted in Motor Trader here, to inspire, inform and empower women and girls to pursue careers within the automotive industry. Still, there is many that do not realise there are so many opportunities in the automotive that it is obviously, it feels like you need to say, or you shouldn't need to say, but we still need to say, that women and girls can do just as well as a man can. And this is, in this journal, they have talked to people within their own group, women within their own group, giving advice and real life stories, as well as some partners that they've worked with, including Ben, that's the automotive charity, as well as Motor Trader themselves, helping to show all the possible opportunities out there and how so many women have found it rewarding careers within automotive. Fantastic initiative, brilliant thing. Like I said, such a shame we still have to do this sort of thing, but it's great to see such a positive way of trying to portray it and a positive way to encourage people or women and girls to enter the motoring world, because it is, we think it's fabulous because we've talked about it for 10 years,
Yeah, it's quite interesting in that article that's linked to Motor Trader is saying that most of the women who work in the auto trade just say they kind of fell into it. It wasn't really the plan. They just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to Guilt Minute, quick break in the show where we ask for a tad of financial support to keep the lights on and the hosting running. If you feel the Motoring Podcast is worth small consideration every month, then you can become a patron. Different levels of patron include different levels of commitment from us to you, including being able to watch the show recorded live. We also have a small range of merchandise from our spring store, from stickers to mugs and t-shirts. If you don't have any spare cash, we do completely understand, then you can help us by following for free from a podcast player to receive every show as they're released, and by liking and rating the show in whatever way your podcast supplier lets you. If you've done all of that, and some of you do, so thank you very, very much, then the last thing you can do is to recommend us to your friends or colleagues.
Thank you, everyone that does. And thank you all those that are continuing to subscribe on YouTube, as well as our patrons who are tweaking the amounts that they have decided that we are worthy of.
Yes, tweaking upwards, most mercifully.
Yes. Anyway, that brings us on to new car news. And Alan, do you want to take us on to a Mercedes that seems, I don't know, like it is a three-pointed star fetish thing?
It is. It really is. God, now we are back to the Jeep Recon again, aren't we? Yes, the Mercedes unveiled the all-new GLB. It's a second-generation GLB. and it is the upright 7-seater SUV buddy of the CLA. My first challenge, I have a number of challenges with this vehicle. My first one is the name, which I just think is ugly.
Yeah, I don't understand what obviously the G is tied in
Off-road.
with G-Wagon, but I've never understood what the two letters after, depending on which.
Well, B is the size, and L is just saying that it's...
Oh, it's something German, obviously, isn't it? I know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, it used to be Lucht, which was light.
Mm.
You see, that's where it was in CLK. But that's which is where it came from. But anyway,
I have to say, before you continue on with the challenges, that with the previous model and this one, apart from the front end, if you're looking at, I think that's the best looking SUV that Mercedes make. I like the overall shape of it. Apart from the G-Wagon, I love the G-Wagon, but that's a historic thing, although now it's been vajazzled, so it's quite silly.
Well, they're not all being vajazzled. You can get a G400 diesel just down in Arnold Clark here. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Cool.
Yeah. It only costs about the same as a small flat, but yeah, they had one sitting outside, but it was unblinged. It was not wrapped.
Okay.
It was not Rappist spec. This, however, is trying very hard to be Rappist spec. It has just some... Right, first of all, these, as Andrew said, 3-pointed star edges. Well, second of all, because first of all was the fact it's got a really ugly name, the Glub. The 3-pointed stars throughout the grille as the daylight running lights.
The rear lights.
Just about everything. The rear lights. It's all just a wee bit much, folks. Yeah.
You say that, but if we're going to talk about
there's
bit
worse.
Much.
There is worse. there are worse, but a wee bit much are the two screens that are possible. It's possible to have in the dashboard. Now the second 14-inch screen. Goodness sakes! For years, my family we survived with a CRT television that was only 13 inches. The twin 14-inch screens, and that's not including the binnacle in front of the driver.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable, but it is optional. So whilst it's shown in the press cars...
So that's the one in front of the passenger seat is optional?
The one inside the passenger seat, in front of the passenger seat is optional, I believe, yes.
Because the problem I have, if you click the link in the show notes, you'll go through to an Autocar article. And on the top slideshow bit, it's only 3 or 4 clicks across and you'll get to the interior view from the back seat. And the problem I have is that interior looks so cheap and nasty with those screens there.
Now, as always...
And it's not cheap because it's a Mercedes.
No, it starts at 42,000.
41,000 if it's the hybrid version. Well, possibly. We don't know for sure yet.
Yeah. And about 50,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the EV.
For the electric version, for the EV version.
But to be fair, the EV does have a 392 mile range. So that's really impressive, actually.
It has a massive range, which, as you say, is fantastically impressive. And to me, that's the thing which I find most impressive about this vehicle. I'm sitting here and I'm grumbling about the fact it's got all these stars in the grille and 152 or something in the sunroof and all these 94 in the illuminated front panel. I just think that's a wee bit much. I'm sure it's a lovely thing to live with, and they'll be clever. The electronics, if you don't have to look at the big screen, will be quite clever. And things like if you're speaking on the phone, it'll automatically offer to put the windows up and all these kind of things, which Mercedes does really, really nicely. I definitely wouldn't be speccing all of those screens because it's horrible.
I'd like a mid to low spec on the trim with the 392 mile range.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the sweet spot for this car.
I would also not specify the cream-coloured leather and all these things, which are some of the things that make that interior that you've just been slagging off look quite so cheap. I think there's been decisions made for press and photography cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I don't think will necessarily be reflected by real-world buyers. For a start, real-world buyers probably won't buy it in bright blue, though, probably, unless they're Rangers fans. They will go for something more muted.
Because if you flick through that slideshow, you get the hybrid version, and in the interior there is much darker and more what one would expect most people to specify.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, 7 seats as well.
Yep.
That's the other big win. It's actually quite a small 7-seater.
Yeah.
Which is not something to be sniffed at. So people go, oh, big SUV. Not particularly big. It's based on the CLA platform, although it is a little bit bigger. But you're fitting 7 seats into that.
Yeah, and if you want an idea of powertrains and all the rest of it, do click the link in the show notes because it's all explained in that really quite thorough Autocar article.
Yes.
Right, I am going to move us on then, and something that definitely is not a 7-seater, and that is the surprise reveal of the Toyota GR GT. And this is quite a thing. Was not expecting a V8 supercar, Super GT type thing with actual backup to the phrase, a race car for the road, because they also revealed at this same event an FIA GT3 spec version as well. So they're going racing with this.
They've basically done what they've done with the GR Yaris, haven't they? They've said, look, we want to be in this particular type of racing. We've got some bits hanging around the place. Let's put them together into a car which we think is going to dominate this.
Yeah. And
so that's what they've done. They've gone off and then made a road car.
Because they sort of did this backwards with the GR Supra. The GR Supra has done a lot of racing in GT4 categories. And it's not always been as successful as hoped. But this one has clearly come from, oh no, we're racing. Okay, now how do we make some for the road? Because looks-wise, it's not a pretty car.
It's slightly challenging, I think, is a fair way to put it.
I think what you have to realise is purely the function will give the form. And if you go in with that attitude, you can then go, oh, right, I see why it looks like it does.
Especially at that very heavy-looking back. The very heavy-looking rear is it.
It's the silhouette and the back. Yeah, it's all okay. Right, this is not an LC500. This is not.
No. Although I did see someone say they thought this looked better than the LC500, and at which point there was
Did you have a word with their guide dog?
At which point there was a small, yes, there was a small, relatively polite pylon.
With respect, but
with respect, the whole President Bartlett, stand there and be wrong in your wrongness gift being used, because I don't see. I mean, I think the LC is fantastic, and this is cool, but I don't think it's pretty or particularly attractive. And I say that as someone who owns 2 ugly Toyotas.
But I think if you look at like the BMW M3 when it had when it came out with the challenging grille, and it looks awful on the road, but on the racetrack it looks
amazing,
immense, and you don't want to see that in your rear view mirror or screen depending on which car you're in and which championship. You don't want to see that, and I think this is equally that. It's such an aggressive looking vehicle, and it is all about we are here to go fast and win races, and that side of things, awesome. On the road, we're all going to go, ooh, no. But I love the fact they've done it. I mean, you look at the way the car industry is going, apart from in 1 or 2 markets, then it's electric. It's at least hybrid and all the rest of it. And this does have a hybrid powertrain mated to the brand new V8, so Alan can't claim lineage from his Lexus. No. It's a brand new V8.
They're saying it's more than 641 brake horsepower in this Evo article.
Yeah, but the hybridness is going to be to boost the performance. It's not about doing any miles electric only. It is not about helping with the efficiency miles per gallon. It is all about, I want to go much faster, please. Can you give me a boost? Love that idea. Because it's a very specific car. It's not for the everyday. It's not for families. It's not for the taxi people. This is a specific car for a specific task.
One thing that's worth mentioning, there is not in none of these photos is there a single Toyota badge, by the way. It just says, it's all GR. Yeah, it cost around about £200,000-ish, likely, possibly. Let's see. So you're probably looking at about $250,000.
Yeah. Can't wait to see it on the racetrack.
No, it's going to be amazing. As we said before, by the way, folks, we're both keeping the Le Mans weekend and the Nürburgring 24 weekends free next year.
Absolutely. Yep. In case you forgot.
Yeah. Well, you're going to hear that a lot. Concept car coming up next, the Hyundai Crater. I like this. Awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's also incredibly silly, and I can explain to you exactly why it's incredibly silly. But it's also awesome. This is to show the direction for Hyundai's XRT range. That's kind of sub-range in North America. So they do an Ioniq 5 XRT, which is like cladded and jacked up a little bit. They do a version of the Santa Cruz pickup truck. That's basically a Tucson at the front, kind of nice little pickup at the back. Almost bought one, but decided it would be too hard to import. A bit more cladding, which is the XRT, and they do a version of the Palisade, which is a large SUV that we don't get here. 7-8-seater thing, which is pretty good looking, actually, about the size of a small house, but it's pretty good looking, and they do an XRT.
It's their adventure brand, whereas N is their performance brand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I love the fact they're confident enough to do that.
I mean, it's basically slightly chunkier tyres and some cladding.
Well, that hits all the buttons we want to press.
Just walking straight into the part of this podcast. But anyway, this crater, the crater, is to show some of the styling cues that might come through. It's a cartoonish, smallish SUV.
I think it's small.
Yeah. It's wide, but it's short. You know, actually, in concept, not a million miles different from my VAUXHALL.
No, I was actually strongly reminded of that, and I didn't want to say it in case people then accuse the podcast of or abused you for needing a drink.
So you just let me do it then.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar in concept for that, but it's got freedom doors at the back. It's got two-sided doors so that they open out because it's a concept. So it's kind of a 2+2 door setup.
Let's be honest. The Hyundai Group concepts, whoever's designing them does have a fetish for a pillarless suicide doors because they're always in there and they always look cool, and we know why they cannot be made real.
Yeah, but they always look cool because they show off the interior and stuff much better in photos and all these things. Despite the fact that then inside the concept there is a steel roll cage which still gives it a B pillar.
Yep.
In this particular case, but it's got the whole modular dash, and
the interior looks so cool.
It's got the whole modular dash. Let's project stuff onto the inside of the windscreen. Seats with lots of separate bits, a la 1980s Renault style.
Yeah. There's lots of that. But if you look at the
dashboard, the whole dashboard crossbar looks like a JBL speaker.
Yes, absolutely. But if you look at those the digital displays that are above the JBL speaker,
yes,
they look like they're the same things on the outside for the spotlights that have got the Pac-Man creatures
it's got
in them.
LED, which is they've got the whole KC Daylighter smiley face type thing going on, but with the LED, but lit up by the sort of pixelated LEDs, which of course is a real Hyundai concept. I was going to say Hyundai concept car, then thought of all the models that they actually do it on.
It would seem that tubular is very much a theme on the interior.
Yes, it is very much. Suspended seating, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
The one thing I don't like is that it does have the kind of jungle wires on front, which are perfect for decapitating a cyclist. They're from the Tesla Cybertruck School of Pedestrian Impact Safety.
One life, live it, etc., etc.
Yes, one life.
I'm going to. You can't.
Especially when it then shows pictures, renderings here of it in the desert. Well, that's the last.
Or near a glacier. That's another picture.
Near a glacier, yeah. Don't need them there either. But no, I like this. And it's got it's got towing eyes and all sorts of fun stuff that are red, so that they're a towing eye. Yeah, this is very much my kind of thing. What does it talk about powertrain?
But it's recognisably a Hyundai as well at the moment because of the way there's the thin line across the bonnet and everything else. Do click the Top Gear link in the show notes. I mean, we are waffling long about this, because it is so cool.
That's how you know we like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I better stop now, though, Alan. I better stop.
Yes.
I'm going to move us on to Designer's Mood Board, and there was a discussion in the week. There was a discussion in the week on whether this actually should be in New News or Designer's Mood Board. And we decided in the end through a bit of toing and froing, and there wasn't a massive argument, but there was sort of questions about it. We decided to put the article from Autocar that is titled JLR Axes Design Boss Jerry McGovern into Designer's Mood Board. And one of the questions that came up was, but he's not actually designed anything for many years. Should that not be new news because he's a board member rather than a designer? But it's so monumental, it probably does fit in. And then what people call him is a designer.
Yeah, and there's plenty of design chiefs and stuff who have also been in the mood board slot,
Yes.
who have been at probably some time since they have wielded the crayon, and they also are at board level.
We've got to play fair.
Yeah.
Consistency. That's what we like to do. Yes. Well, allegedly gone. See, this is the problem. This news came out, and we didn't talk about it last week because it came out just before the show, and it was all reports are.
There was an awful lot of speculation, and I thought, well, we'll let this one ripen a bit. It's a bit like the Ford Renault one that we've not talked about tonight, although we've alluded to it. That we want to see what happens with that and just what the feedback is from around the world. And it was the same with this. It was like, oh, let's not jump to conclusions here. We don't really know what's happened. And the answer is that a week later, we still don't really know what's happened.
No, we don't like to put in this show rumours because we have done it once or twice and been caught out. And not maliciously or anything like that. It's just that's not been the case. And we try to make sure that we're giving you actual news, actual facts. And if we get it wrong, we'll tell you. We actually do like to be transparent. But this one, it came out and it was all rumours and reports suggest and the lots of air quotes, all liberally plastered throughout articles. However, we've heard nothing since, but it really does appear that Jerry McGovern has left JLR. We don't know whether it was of his own steam or whether he was encouraged to leave or whether he was told he had to leave. We don't know. And we don't know why. And we know nothing else. And we don't know if this has a knock-on effect to the company wider, projected products that are expected to come out. Nothing else is known. And that side of things worries me.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not that there's been a change.
I actually thought there'd be a statement.
That's companies get by on that. But how critical Jaguar, for example, and how much Jerry McGovern was involved in telling the world about that and his ideas and direction was allegedly involved in the route they went down, particularly with the way that the model of the car came out. Not that he necessarily scribbled on and made that, but he helped shape that concept.
And that's the whole concept, not just the car, but also all of the stuff that went with it.
Yeah, it's the new brand and the way that people dress in dealerships and all this, all that sort of stuff. It worries me now that we've not heard anything come out and go, and by the way, this doesn't change our plans, or actually, we're changing our plans.
And so there was a whole thing about it, and just the way that this seemed to happen was that, it was not a normal way for things to happen like this. Normally you'd expect a small statement saying, parted ways, or more time with personal projects, personal reasons, these kinds of things. And there's been none of that, and you would expect that.
I would have expected it from him.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I would have expected him to control the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it could be, I don't know, there's a couple of things it could be, I guess.
Let's not speculate because our lawyers are not that wealthy.
Because I don't have that much money. I know what's in the podcast bank account, and it's not going to fund a lawyer for very long.
Maybe not even a phone call at this rate.
Anyway, what we're trying to say is we don't really know much.
I hope it all is, in the next week or 2 weeks, the new CEO comes out and goes, right, this is what's happened. Yes, we've moved on. Here's a new person. By the way, it changes nothing or whatever.
I'm sure there will be HR lawyers earning their very high fees.
Yes.
As
Christmas bonuses.
As we speak. And once they've all made up their minds about what can be said and what can't be said, then something will be said.
Mm. Anyway, do you want to take us on to safer ground and points of interest?
Oh, yeah, much safer. Let's start off with, I think we trod a tightrope there. Let's move on to Lunchtime Read. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's from Alloy magazine, which was relatively new to me. I didn't really know of this. I don't know how I missed it.
I had no idea till you sent me the link. It looks fab. I love the layout and everything.
The graphic design is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And this article by Tim Stevens called, I watched DLC and patches ravage the gaming industry. Now OTA is killing cars. Where he talked about when he was a software and games reviewer and how he saw a pattern of behavior going on in the games industry, where it came to quality of what was shipped. And now in the automotive industry, he's seeing the quality of what is shipping as well. And he sees very worrying parallels between them. It's a really nice article, well worth your time. So are many of the others on this site, actually. This is they seem to have some really nice stuff here. As I say, I don't know how I missed it before.
Yep. Does feel like it's one of those on the merch we still haven't sorted out for we told you so, ... and then...
You're obsessed with this one, and as soon as you come through with a proper idea for it, I will do something about it. But
I do need to sort out the graphics of it and everything, because it does feel like we've said this a lot about many subjects and unfortunately been proven right. Because none of it's for the good stuff. That's the shame.
Because we're old and grey-haired and experienced, and we can see what's happening with stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Anyway, moving on from my grumpiness, and let's go to List of the Week. And this is from Haggerty, and it is titled Top 10 Misunderstood Classics That Deserve Reappraisal. Excellent article here from Richard Hasseltine, discussing a bunch of cars that we perhaps didn't appreciate in the right way at the time or since. And he gives a little paragraph for each one on why perhaps possibly we need to relook at some of these cars. Alan, there's 10.
Andrew.
So, have you got one that stands out more that deserves reappraisal than any of the others?
There's one which I've reappraised a few times, and I'm still not sure where I stand on it, to be honest.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
And that's the 2002 Jaguar S-Type convertible. Sorry, Ford Thunderbird. Well, it's the same platform as the Jaguar S-Type and the Lincoln LT. There you go. There's your nerdery for tonight. And he says, just a tsunami of hype when it was launched in 2002. It was withdrawn in July 2005, by which time sales had flatlined. It's hard to pinpoint a particular flaw in its makeup, so draw your own conclusions. I know what my conclusion is. Now, obviously I saw these when I was in the US. I saw them in all sorts of colors and all sorts of conditions. And they're still pretty stunning on the road.
Are they stunning?
They are. Sorry.
Distinctive?
They're distinctive and they stand out on the road.
Okay. I'll go with that.
And therefore attract your attention. And I'm sorry, I used the wrong word, really. But the trouble these days is still the trouble they had when they launched them in 2002. They're only bought by old people.
Mm.
Literally, once all the old people had satisfied their desire for them, then that was it, and they were sold. No, the problem is the clientele.
Is it the clientele, or is it what you were saying earlier in the show about VAUXHALL and clinging on to a name that is so historically old that we should move on?
No, the thing is that everybody younger was buying a Mustang.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. And so Mustang's been around, well, not quite as long as Thunderbird, I don't think, but still, people of all ages buy Mustangs.
It does feel like the Mustang has been reinvented sufficiently well enough
Yes, I think the Mustang's been through some ropey times.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Some really ropey times.
But as of late, shall we say?
As of late, the last 20 years or so.
Done a great job.
Yeah, last 20, 25 years, done a great job. This came along, it didn't hit the mark. And I still don't think it hits the mark. Now, having reappraised it, I still don't think it hits the mark. I think it was just the wrong target market.
For me, the design is 290s.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're still looking at it.
It's 2002,
it was a bit
and
after its time.
Like 1995, it feels.
It was meant to be all new Beetle and stuff.
Mm.
J. Mays and all these things.
Mm.
Sorry, so that was my take. That was my take. There's loads of I know there's only 10 here.
Yeah.
The other 9, some of them you can look at it and go, ugh, and others you look at and go, well, actually, I think for the point. I think that's actually really pretty cool.
I think most of them you can have a really good conversation about. Take the list, go down the pub with your mates, and talk them through. That's what this list is. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but the next one down the list was the one that I was 2 seconds away from saying instead of the Thunderbird. That was my choice.
Because it's a very interesting car in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, do you want to take us on to finally? Yes.
Autodidact has released a new video, actually about a month ago. It's about the Mercedes-Benz SL, the R129 model. So that is the one after the Dallas one.
The one with the hard top. No. You could get the hard top version.
You could get hard top version, but it was separate. But the cool thing, of course,
you had to leave it in your garage.
The cool thing, of course, is the pop-up roll bar.
Yeah.
The cool thing. It's one of the last fully engineered Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I have many opinions on this stuff.
So the similar generation to the E-Class that you had.
Yeah, it's later than the W124. Obviously being a 129, but that gives you an idea of the time between the W124 coming out and the R129 and how close the numbers are gives you an idea of just how long its gestation period was.
Before the accountants ruined Mercedes with Excel.
Yes, basically. Basically, yes. Awesome. I think that's us for this week. Good news, everyone. Andrew's doing the editing. So those of you who've asked what's happened to the chapters in the podcast that you like so that you can skip when you're bored, then there's a high chance that those will be back again. Yeah. Thank you for putting up with my editing for the last 3 weeks. Somebody's has done far more of the 661 shows than I have.
No, but I appreciate your help in this current time of my need.
Anyway, that said, quite a lot has been said. Don't forget that between now and next week, you can give us any feedback and share your thoughts with the show at motoringpodcast.com on Blue Sky, at Motoring Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and on the contact page of www.motoringpodcast.com, the hub of all our activities. Remember, you can support us financially via Patreon, and please leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or however your podcast app lets you do such a thing. Andrew, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I'm not sure at the moment. I think possibly LinkedIn. I was going to say Blue Sky, but I went on it today and found that Blue Sky had removed all my muted words and accounts, so that made it almost disgusting to use. So I'm not sure I'll be back there anytime soon. LinkedIn is probably the best way, although there may be a delay in me getting back to you because outside of the podcast, I am still very busy, everybody. Please bear with. But Alan, enough of my grumbling, and as you're a much more polite and nicer person than I, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Blue Sky is definitely best for me, where I'm at AJP Bradley, that's BRADLEY.bsky.social. We'll be back very soon, but until then, I've been Alan Bradley.
I've been Andrew Clues.
And safe motoring.